ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Insight. This is your friend Julius Obricon. Magandang gabi po sa inyo lahat. I'd like to say welcome to my friends and my viewers here in the United States. Good evening. And in the Philippines, sa mga kababayan po natin, magandang umaga po, magandang tanghali sa inyong lahat. Welcome to Insight, a program that is giving me the opportunity to speak my mind. No? And I'd like to again make it clear that this program is not influenced by any companies or am I being sponsored by any group or companies about the things that I'm going to discuss tonight. And I am not also giving some legal advice in this program. I'm not also giving financial advices dito po sa program na ito. All I give you are insights that would help you in your life, in your business, in your relationships, and marami pa pong iba. So tonight we're going to have a very exciting discussion, and I think this is very important, no? We're going to talk about the fine prints. Fine prints. More often than not, dyan po tayo nagkakamali palagi sa fine prints. Ini-ignore natin ang mga fine prints. No? Of course, when I say fine prints, I'm talking about agreements and contracts. Contract if you're a business person, or even if you are a contractor or an independent person that is involved in business, contracts and agreements are inevitable. Lalabas po palagi yan is going to come, and you need to understand what agreements is all about are all about. Written agreements sometimes can be very long. It can be very long and complex to read. I think that's why we ignore the fine print, because most of the agreements that we sign are just too long and just too complex to read. Hindi natin mag-gets. And it's full of these legal jargons and terminologies that can be very difficult for one to understand. No? I'm not an attorney, I'm not giving legal advices, but I'm giving to you insights based on my research and my personal experiences. At times, it is not clear. Hindi maliwanag. It's not clear from the beginning what the details written in the agreement are. Hindi natin makita yung mga details. And I'm going to tell you why. No? Um, Furthermore, legal agreements or contracts are often written in different formats, no? Iba-ibang formats yan, no? And I'll discuss it later, making it even more difficult, lalo na nagiging mahirap to understand, because contracts and agreements come in different forms, or what you call this, presentations, and what they will mean for us in the future. Now, I repeat, we need to understand the importance of agreement, everything that is written there, because it determines our future, in terms of legalities. No? Hindi po natin maiiwasan yan. Kaysa Pilipinas, kaysa Amerika, meron mga bagay po na dapat ay legal. Now, what are the dangerous, here's the question, what are the dangerous consequences, my dear friends, of not looking over the details written in legal agreement? Ano yung consequences nun? There will be, and there are consequences, my dear friends, if we overlook the details written in a legal agreement. All right. Maybe you just don't care. But I'll warn you, my dear friends, at the end of the day, sa dulo po ng walang hanggang, yan, ay masakit po sa ulo yan pag hindi natin intindihin ang ating pinipirmahan. No? For example, marami tayong pinipirmahan, no? When you rent an apartment, okay? Kung umuupa kayo ng apartment, ng tirahan ninyo, or if you're renting maybe a commercial space, lalo na, no? If you're renting maybe a house that you want to call your home, or maybe when you're leasing a car or buying a car. Wow, marami po kayong matututunan ngayong gabi sa akin. Or if you're buying or leasing a car, okay, or buying a home, or entering into a professional agreement. Maybe if you're an artist, you're an entertainer, you're a performer, the contracts are inevitable. And we need to be very sharp pagdating po sa fine print ng agreement. Kasi there are times that yung pong kumukuha sa inyo, the one who is contracting you, is the one who wants to prepare the contract. No? In my case po, I'll tell you honestly, as much as possible, I want my attorney, my lawyer, to write the contract. Not that because I don't trust the other party, but I feel it. To me, it's my preference. No, na yung pong agreements ay sinulat ng abogado ko. Now, if there are just agreements that I can write myself based on my experiences and my, for so many contracts I've read and I've signed in my life, um, I can draft a contract. Madali lang po, unless that the terms and the details are very complex. No, that is not my turf because I'm not a lawyer. Remember, I said kanina, it is dangerous, delikado po, na pumipirma tayo ng mga fine print na hindi natin naiintindihan yung pinipirma natin. As a matter of fact, yan pong gustong-gusto ng mga landlords o yung mga nagbebenta sa atin, yung mga nag-hire sa atin. That's what exactly they want. No? Hindi ko puli na lahat. No? I'm not generalizing that all people are deceiving or deceitful when it comes to written agreements. But I tell you, my dear friends, I am 70 years old and I have seen these movies several times again and again. And I tell you, as I said, I can write a book about this. Maybe I should, as my second or my third book. Siguro isusulat ko ito para po mas marami nakakaintindi. But why do we overlook these details? I'll tell you why. It's not about the other party, it's about you. Let's talk about buying a car. You know, ayan, magpapasko na o magka-graduation next year or whatever. We all have dreams. We have a dream house, we have a dream car, we have a dream apartment or whatever, or you want a dream career, a dream job. All of these eventually will lead to something that you have to sign. Okay, and that is very important for you to understand. Now, why do we get in trouble po at the end of the day? Let's talk first. Very interesting ito po kasi I used to be representing a car dealership, no? And I've learned a lot from the owner, my friend, I just not mention his name, but I've learned a lot aside from my own diligence and understanding what contracts when it comes to automobile is concerned. Now, ito po ang problema. Because of our excitement, yan. When you buy a car, when you're buying a house, it's being fueled by excitement. Lalo na po kung kayo po ay kind of first time buyer. If it is your first car, if it is your first house, if it is your first job, it's so overwhelming. We're so excited, and that excitement is very dangerous because if our if our excitement overrules, no, or yeah, overrules the examining of the possible consequences sa pinipirmahan ninyo, it's not going to be happy at the end of the day. It's not going to be exciting, I tell you that. Many people, even as a pastor, even as a business consultant, I have talked to dozens of people and business people seeking for advice. As I said, I'm not a lawyer, but they come to me because they seek advice, not only spiritually, but advice about the business sector because they know that I've been into that. And nakakalungkot kasi po, people buy something, lalo na po kotse, no? They buy things out of their excitement. Maganda yung kulay, maganda yung upuan, automatic, maganda yung gulong, modelo, sikat ako pagka ito yung mani. That's all understandable. But my dear friends, when you sign a contract, when you are leasing, wala pa namang, karamihan po naman ng mga sasakyan natin, hindi po naman cash ito, no? So, ito po ay utang. Lalo na po pag utang. It's more po if you are leasing or you are amortizing a car. Because not all people drive a beautiful car, that means that they own it, no? Karamihan po yan ay lease, inaarkilahan sa Tagalog, no? Dito po sa America, if you're in business, I always advise my customers to lease because there are so many perks, there are so many benefits if you lease, especially if you're in business, because you can write off the mileage and maybe the expenses for your gas if it has something to do with your business. But if you're just going to um, go and enjoy a vacation every time you're going to use it for that, then I don't think that's very advisable now. So people buy cars or lease cars because they're so excited about the model, ang daming kotse ngayon, no? But they overlook, in the case of purchasing a car, one may be concerned, yan ang concern you, with its basic mechanical characteristics. Doon tayo nakatuon sa mechanical characteristics. No? What do I mean with that? Oh, magandang brand ito, magandang model, mabilis. Yet, mga kaibigan, the small fine print would include the price of what? Marami. Hindi niyo ba napansin kung kayo po ay bumibili ng kotse o nakabili ng kotse? Lahat, paraman, all of us have been there. It's a necessity in America. And I could say even in the Philippines, cars, mobilities are necessities more than a luxury. But sometimes, people like it as a luxury thing. That's fine. If you can afford it, why not? But why do we overlook these things? And why are we surprised after? Hindi niyo ba napansin, if you buy a car or you lease a car, the last office that you're going to in the dealer or in the brokering company, is the finance manager. Di ba? Doon kayo maglalanding sa finance. Yung pong ending, tapos na po yung mga test ninyo, driving, ha? Tapos na yung mga about the car and its characteristics. And so you jump into that, I want this, yes, 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 and then they run your credit, and then you get approved by God's grace. That's one thing. Kung kayo po yung na-approve, praise God for that. Oh, congratulations. Pero hindi pa po tapos. It does not end there. But it is now when you sign the documents of your car, whether it is leased or purchased. And if you are not reading the fine print, ang tawag po namin yan, long contract. Hindi ba napansin, yung pong mga contract sa dealership, lalo na po sa finance office, ang haba po yun, nahuhulog na dun sa sahig, sa haba. That's what we call long contracts or long agreements. No? Sa haba na yun, nata-turn off na kayo kasi excited na kayo. You are now uh, looking over the papers that, let's face it, you don't understand, and all you want is to drive away with a car. But the thing is, binasa ba ninyo? Let alone na pagdating niyo po doon, kakargahan po kayo ng a lot of warranties. A lot of, oh, you need this, you have to have an extra warranty for another years. Bakit ka bumibili ng mga bagay na bago naman yung kotse mo? Bakit ka kailangan bumili ng ganito, kailangan bumili ng ganyan? Kabago-bago ng kotse natin eh. Kasi po kinakarga, that is upselling, no? They want to sell you everything they can sell and dump it on your bill at the end of the month. Kaya po yung monthly ninyo tumataas, no? Kasi pirma kayo ng pirma without reading the fine prints. Yung pala, pirma kayo na mataas na price of warranty, whether or not the car can be driven outside the country, or and what mileage is, if the car is under mileage, lease agreement, all of those stuff, no? So, hindi niyo ba napansin yan bago kayo pakawalan doon sa finance department? eh kargado na ho kayo ng binili ninyo hindi nyo kailangan. You buy things, for example, of warranties and extensions and all, which you do not need, quite honestly. But because of your excitement, sige na lang. So you overlook to read the written agreement because mahaba yung long forms po, no? Sa mga ibang dealership po ngayon, high-tech na ngayon, wala na po kayong binabasa. Sinasabi na lang sa inyo tapos pinapakita sa screen. Lalo na po, the more, my dear friends, that you have to be very careful. Read the fine print. Hindi niyo ba napansin yung may mga contract malalaki sa umpisa, yung first page? Pagka dumating na po kayo sa may kulay na papel, kailangan niyo na ho ng teleskopyo, ng magnifying glass para po mabasa ninyo yung fine print. Yung pong fine print, yan po ang bibitay sa inyo. Sapagkat you will be in deep trouble if you overlook that and if you do not understand that. That is why you've been driving your car, you've been renting your house, your apartment, you've been living in the house that you bought, and then after a certain may nangyari, may ganito, life gets in the way, and then you find out na ikaw pala ay talo. Sapagkat there are things that you signed when it comes to payment, when it comes to interest, lalo na po yan. No, when it comes to the monthly payments, the taxes involved in so many and a myriad of legal jargons or legal language that you do not understand. Now you are stuck into it. Remember, when you're leasing or you buy a car, hindi po yan chicharon na pwede niyo pong ibalik kung ayaw niyo kung makunat. You know, ang kotse po, unless it's a lemon, which is very hard to prove, by the way, uh, you are going to be stuck in a contract for 3, 4, 5 years, and you cannot back out of it. Now you are married to that agreement. So hindi pa po kailangan importante basahin natin yung mga fine print. Now, why do I say that? Don't let your excitement overrule wisdom. You see, heart over mind, mind over heart. I'm not saying it's wrong to love cars or to buy cars, but it is important for us to be wise, to be prudent, to be aware of what are the consequences hidden in an agreement if something goes wrong along the way. Because the excitement, the joy that is overwhelming you will not save you from legal troubles that is going to be so damaging and so devastating in your life, mga kaibigan. So what my point here is very simple. I like I'm suggesting and I'm recommending that before you sign anything, you know, read it, or if you do not understand the fine print, consult a lawyer. No? Ay, ang mahal ng abogado, pumili po kayo. Pirmahan ninyo na bubulag-bulag tayo at at the end of the day po ay nagkaloko-loko yung deal ninyo. Or mangonsulta tayo sa abogado na makapagbibigay sa atin ng gabay kung anong dapat gawin. Ang problema pa po, bago natin pirmahan dahil sa excitement, hindi tayo nangungonsulta. Nangungonsulta tayo. We only consult when we are already in deep waters. Amen? Di po ba? So, ganyan po palagi nangyayari. We only consult when we are in trouble. A lot of people come to me asking this and asking that, asking for help. I said, how can I help you? You led yourself into this pool or sea of problems. You should have asked me before. Amen to that, di po ba? But again, you see how powerful the heart over the mind is. The heart and the spirit is so excited. And the mind, which is decisions and judgment and wisdom, is eclipsed. Natatabunan po ang katotohanan at ang importanteng mahalaga na tatabunan po ng ating excitement. Kasiyahan, I'm sorry, di po ba? So, what I'm saying is that it's okay for you to buy anything you want for as long as you You're prudent about it. I tell you, I bought so many things in my life that I just found out at the end of the day that I do not need. Ito po, magpapasko na, di ba? Every year, the end of the year, we go to your garage, and then look at everything that you have shelved or kept, or look into your closets. You have a lot of clothes or things that you have that you did not even use throughout the year. Why? Because those are the things that you bought out of what? Excitement. You jumped into it, you signed into it, you entered into it without consulting or praying, seeking the wisdom of the Supreme. Not only a lawyer, not only your accountant, but God. No? Magtanong po kayo, tama ba itong ginagawa ko, Panginoon? Di ba? So, that is another danger. Now, let's talk about, ito, kotse na pag-usapan natin. Let's talk na about business agreements. Yun po, yung business agreement na yan. Uh, siguro makakasampung libro si Pastor pagka sumulat niyan. Ang problema po sa mga business agreements, it's already signed by both. But before you sign again, read the fine print. No, hindi po ibig sabihin ng maliliit na print yan. Is to me the term fine print is a reminder to us to be aware of what we are signing and where. Don't just ask where do I sign. You always say, "Can I sleep over this? Can I sleep over this?" Those are the terms or words that the people who are selling you or people who are recruiting you or entering into an agreement with you, they don't want to hear those words because they want you to sign right now while you are excited, while you do not have time to ask counsel. At tayo po naman, excited, tiwa-tiwala, so we sign. Where do I sign? Saan ako pipirma? Pirma lang ng pirma. Hindi man naman natin binabasa yung dulo ng kontrata. Yung umpisa lang kasi maganda yung umpisa. Nandoon yung terms ng remuneration ninyo, kung magkano yung babayad sa inyo. But you did not read the fine details about what will bring you into a mess after a few months or after a year. No? If you're an entertainer, but sometimes you look for sponsors. Naghahanap tayo ng mga sponsors. May kontrata po yan, di ba? Meron tayong sign here and sign there, you know. At ito ng mga ibang tao, no, pipirma sa atin. Pagkatapos, hindi naman nila sinusunod yung pinipirmahan nila. I've encountered people who entered into an agreement with me as a major sponsor, just to find out that at the end of the show, even before the concert, they refused to pay. Ang katwiran po kasi wala daw sila. That is not written in the agreement, you know. But if you know your contract, my dear friends, kay manonood yung sponsor mo o hindi, wala pong pakialam yun kung di sila manonood. They are sponsoring because we are what? Advertising their services, their products or whatever. So what has that to do if they're not able to watch your show or be there in the event? That has nothing to do with that. But they signed a contract, right? Some people are just so wise, no? Hindi lang po tayo minsan ang mahina ang paningin sa ating pinipirmahan. Pati po yung nagpapapirma sa atin. It is so, I tell you, it can be funny, it's so obnoxious sometimes that these people who pretend to be professionals, and they are the same people who can violate their own agreements. I tell you, my dear friends, I speak on the basis of my experiences. And I tell myself, why would I run after these people who doesn't value me? Di ba sinabi ko pa sa inyo sa mga ibang vlogs ko? I said, don't run after people who doesn't value you at all. Don't spend time for these people. Look for other people. Pray for other people. Look forward and follow your heart and your dreams. Now, when you get into signing agreements, my dear friends, be very careful. because people are deceiving. Sila yung fine print, no? Minsan po pinapapirma kayo, nakatakip po yung, di ba? Papakita ko po sa inyo. Nakatakip po yung kamay. Ay, hindi niyo nakikita, sayang. Nakatakip po yung kamay sa papel. Ayan, no? Ayan, nakaganyan. Nakatakip ang kamay para hindi niyo mabasa. Now, what you call that is deceit, my dear friends. And poor you, poor us, who trusted people and just resign anywhere because you trust. May tiwala naman ako sa iyo eh. You know, my dear friends, wisdom does not recognize tiwala dahil sa mukha mo o dahil sa pangalan mo. No. There's no wisdom in that you sign because you trust this person, even without reading the agreement. You know, you are, I'm sorry to say this, but you are a fool if you allow people to put one over you, particularly on things that you sign. Because remember, let's talk about agreements. No, uh, agreements come in many forms. Do you know that there are even verbal agreements? You know that an agreement is something like the meeting of two minds. Now, if you can prove that there was a meeting of minds na kaintindihan kayo, walang papel, that can constitute an agreement. That's what you call an implied agreement. Implied agreement, di po ba? Kahit na hindi nakasulat sa papel, pero nagkaintindihan kayo, nagkamayang kayo, that is, and you can prove it, that is a contract. I don't know in your state, but I know here in California it is. No? Or anywhere. Because that is showing that there was an agreement of two parties, kayo po at hindi. Ngayon, yung pong nagpapapirmo sa inyo ng agreements, no? Minsan po, napakahaba, no? Para tamarin kayo magbasa. Minsan, bumibili ka lang ng pardibli, 5 pahina yung agreement. Para i-confuse ka. You know, this world is evil, my dear friends, and all we need is prudence and we need wisdom in all that we do, mga kaibigan. So I encourage you, no, yan, sa business mo, liwanagin ninyo ang inyong usapan. Kasi po maganda ang business pag kumikita. Pag hindi na kumikita, ay hindi na po business ang samahan ninyo. Chismis, hindi business. Magsisisihan na po tayo. You blame each other, kasi she said, he said, and maski na po may agreement. Bali wala po sa mga taong sanay pong tumalikod sa kanilang mga pinirmahan. Not you, sila. Ah, they have the audacity, my dear friends, to even deny what they signed with you because sila po nag-prepare ng agreement. Sila rin mismo ang sumulat ng agreement, ng kontrata. Sila rin ang nagva-violate ng agreement. Now, bakit nila kayang gawin sa atin yon? Because, sa nalinlang tayo. Sapagkat hindi natin binasa. Ang lalabas pa po at the end of the day, tuturo ka pa doon. Look at paragraph number blah, 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 and look at page number blah, blah, blah. You signed and you agreed that this is blah, blah, blah. Nagulat ka. Aba, oo nga pala, no? Pinirmahan ko na binibigay ko yung kaluluwa ko. My dear friends, I'm sure in one way or another you have experienced this. But it's okay if you have experienced this, but it is not okay if you continue to experience this. The fine print of every agreement must be read. Kung hindi niyo po mabasa at hindi po maliwanag sa inyo, if it is not clear, any word, phrase, or paragraphs or sentence that you do not understand, that you're not comfortable with, do not sign the agreement. Tell the person across you that I want to refer this or to consult my attorney. And, because your lawyer is always after your best interest, I hope. They will always be after what's good for you. But sometimes we omit that Because we pretend to be wise. O, alam ko na yan. Hindi naman mangyayari yan. Best friend ko yan. Tsaka alam niyo mga kaibigan. Sabi ko nga, I think last week I said, people who will deceive you will not be people outside of your realm of your friendship. It will be your friends who will be having the opportunity to take advantage of you. Again, hindi ko po rin na lahat yan. But I'm just quoting the Proverbs. I'm just quoting that phrase po. Na people will not harm you, but those who are near you will be the one to hurt you and harm you. So what do we do? Balik tayo po sa agreements. The contract must be two-sided. It must be amenable to you and amenable to them. Kaya nga po may contract. So may meeting of minds po yan, you know. But if you just sign it because you just want to bring home the car, you just want to get the keys of the new house, well, don't blame anybody, my dear friends. Kasi masakit po. You will lose a lot of money. You will lose friends. You will lose your career or your business or your property if you do not take care of understanding every detail of a piece of paper that you sign, the fine print. So don't ignore that, my dear friends. No? Huwag niyo pong ignorin yan, yung mga fine print na yan. Sapagkat yan pong fine print, kaya ginawang maliliit yan. Sinadya po yung maliliit. Hindi po dahil kulang ang papel, kundi para po hindi na ninyo mabasa. So, magdala kayo ng teleskopyo o ng magnifying glass pag kayo po ay bibili ng sasakyan o uupa kayo ng sasakyan o kahit ano po na may kontrata. Kahit na po yan ay hulugan, lalo na po. Even if if you have a loan, if you're, amortizing, or if you're borrowing money or from a lender or from whatever, make sure that you understand the terms of your loan. Yung tinatawag na loan agreement. Marami nagugulat kasi po pagdating ng statement nila, uy, ang laki nito. Ganto pala yan. Ganto pa. Bakit ganun? Ba't ganun? Kasi hindi nyo binasa. At the end of the day, doon pala natin nadidiscover na tayo pala po ay nagkamali. So, is there wisdom in that? Definitely, there is no wisdom in that, my dear friends. But be prudent, do your due diligence. Diba? Even reading a piece of paper, a contract, is very paramount. It's paramount. It doesn't make you less of a person. Yan pa po. We don't want to admit or to even show a hint that we do not understand the legal language of the piece of paper that is in front of us. It doesn't make you less. As a matter of fact, if you consult and you seek counsel before the eyes of everybody, you are a wise man. A wise man doesn't mean that he knows everything. I don't know everything, you know. But if I do not know, I consult. And that is the time where we learn from others who are more experienced than us and who has burned themselves by experiencing the same mistake. I have been burned, my dear friends, with a lot of my business relationships, even with friends, you know, and I found out that not even a piece of paper, my dear friends, can assure us that the other person across the table has our interest in his mind. Everybody will survive. Survival of the fittest. Bahala ka dyan, basta't ako kumita ako, basta't nabentahan kita, bahala ka kung mabawi mo, pumasok ka sa negosyo, kung mabawi mo sa hindi yan, problema mo yan. Hello? But you had all the opportunity to avoid that. We had all the opportunity to avoid that, my dear friends. And how do we avoid that? By reading the fine print. The fine print. Basahin niyo po. Kung mahaba ang mga papeles, basahin niyo pa rin. I guarantee you, my dear friends, you will save yourself a lot of money. You will keep your friends, the right friends at least, and you will have a happy life with your family if you avoid these people. Sa umpisa pa lang, maaamoy na ninyo mga kaibigan ang taong deceitful na may balak na lokohin ka. You know, dalawang, there are only two types of people in this life, you know. The one who fools you, yung niloloko ka, and the one who allows to be cheated and allowed to be fooled. Walang wisdom doon, di ba? So why do we allow ourselves to be trampled upon? That's not good, my dear friends. You have to talk and speak your mind. If you do not understand it, ask. If the agreement calls for a very serious decision, it has consequences in the future, read it, consult, my dear friends. And you will never regret it. Wala pa po akong nadinig ng taong nangonseho o humana po ng nangonsulta na nagsisi. Sapagkat at least ginawa niyo po ang dapat ninyong gawin. And that is what? To read every agreement with diligence and seeking the counsel of people who are wise. Next week po, we will talk more about this fine prints or these agreements, no, itong mga kontrata. May business, no? Naku, excited lahat sa business, di ba? Uy, tayo nito, sige, pirma. Tayo ng LLC. Ang dali ng LLC, kung lang yan, sa legal Zoom lang yan. Parang napakadali. Oh, totoo naman. You know, this technology has made many things available, my dear friend. You can write, you can form a corporation, you can form an LLC, you can form a partnership just by going online. But these things, my dear friends, should not be paid attention, should not be ignored by you if you're starting or forming a business without consulting people like lawyers and financial advisors, which I'm not, by the way. No, consult them. Don't trust online. Oh, for only $95, you can be a LLC tomorrow, and will file, do all the rest. Well, true, but there are fine lines, my dear friend, fine print na hindi nyo naintindihan. You don't even know what an LLC is. Not all people who have LLCs really deeply understand or are knowledgeable about the works or the benefits of an LLC versus a C corporation and a partnership. All that many are just putting in their minds that, we will make money. This is fun. I like this. I'm excited. Where do I sign? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years later, buti nga kung umabot pa ng 3 years, nalugi, nagkaroon po kayo ng legal problem, dinimanda kayo ng isang customer, dinimanda kayo ng isang tao, ng employer niyo. Wow! And you were surprised to the bones because you do not know anything about the forming of a business, because you're just excited to put up a business, let alone start a business that you do not understand, a business that you want to do in absentia. Gusto niyo magtayo ng negosyo, pipirma ka ng agreement dito ka sa California, ang business mo nandun sa ibang state. How can you do that? Okay, unless you're hiring lawyers who is always there 24/7 to take care to administer your investment. But for you to sign an agreement and enter into an agreement of a business in absentia, meaning to say wala ka doon and expect you to make money or to be successful, hindi ko pa ho narinig yan. If you're starting a business, wag ko kayo magsimula ng negosyo na wala kayo doon. May katiwala ako doon. Hello, yung mga katiwala natin na nawalan tayo ng tiwala, di ba ba? Read the fine print, my dear friend. I'll talk to you more next week, if not soon. Nag-break tayo for Thanksgiving, and we have a lot of reasons to be thankful, whether we are successful or not. And I hope and I pray that your weekend po yung Thanksgiving niyo will be really a thanksgiving week by giving thanks for all that binigay po sa atin ng Panginoon. I wish that you will be successful in all your endeavors and be more conscious when you sign papers, purchases, lease, anything that you sign. Huwag ko kayo masyadong mabilis. Pirma rito, pirma doon. Read the fine print. This is Julius Obregon saying thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to see you again next week. Magandang gabi po. This is Insight.